Hey everyone, welcome back to Bonsai by the Sea. Well, we had an extremely cold day yesterday. We had a high of 25 Fahrenheit. So, needless to say, everything got frozen outside. So, I want to give you a good tour of the basement. I'll give you a little background on it. So this house changed hands in 1998. And prior to that, it only had a wood burner in the basement, but the new owners were just trying to develop it and flip it. So they had an oil furnace put in the basement. And we've lived with that oil furnace now for 10 years. And this year in October, we decided to take it all out because it basically runs on diesel and it's just gotten too expensive to heat with. And it was a bad installation, and I've hit my head on the pipes down there 100 times, and so I was looking forward to getting it all out of there. So we got it back to its original shape with the wood stove, and it's been really nice to get the oil out of there and not have the smell of the oil and everything that goes along with it. So we'll go down and I'll give you a good look at what's going on. Got lots of good plants going on down here. So here's one of my Katon Asters that's been going for quite a while. It's getting its groove on. I do keep some of my small Tamaracks down here, especially this one because it's in a good pot that I don't want to crack. But they seem to do just fine down here. They do keep a little bit of green on them. And the small Tamaracks are known for doing that around here. So barely hanging on to life was frozen solid outside yesterday, so I brought him in. So I'm pretty sure that it's a very stunted balsa fir. So it'll probably stay here for the rest of the winter. I have a lot of boxwoods going now that this one's ready to get some cuttings off of. Got good cuttings on there. So here's about the best Thuga cutting. This one's done really nice. I had it wired when it was smaller. So this one never got a frost on it, so it's still nice and green. And they don't seem to really need a dormancy. These three are mulberries. So the Ficus Benjamin is working out really well to make for the market. And I've been planting a few of them on top of rocks. This one's in a concrete pot that is planted on a rock. And as they grow, I just slowly wash the dirt off the rock. And I've got two of these here. This one is a little more developed. So yeah, the Ficus Benjamins are definitely a good plant for the market. Here's one that I put together about a month ago, and it's planted on a rock also. Really good. So this one's a Ponderosa pine. When we were in Colorado, I was collecting seeds off them. I think I have ended up with 2 of them that are surviving. So here's my Sisses for the market. Got a bunch of them. They're developing real nice. They're all getting good trunks on them, and they love it down here in the basement. So if you're wintering over Sisses, you have to be really careful not to let them dry out. I have one here that did dry out. It was a real nice one. And it's still alive down on the very low part of it. I'm hoping it'll regroup, but it dried out. If they dry out one time, they can be goners. So here's a Sisses that I've planted on a rock. I'm planning on doing many more of the Sisses on a rock. Their roots are very attractive. It's a good thing. So this one's a cherry tree that I brought in yesterday. This pot has really been through it with the ice and this one. I'm probably going to put this one into a concrete pot. So these are lemon trees that are cuttings. These are about 6-month-old cuttings of the Meyers Lemons. They've gone from cuttings really well. Here's another one of the Ficus Benjamins. That one's about ready to do something with. Here's a Sisses that's full bloom. If they get enough light, they bloom really good down here in the basement. This one's obviously getting it. I've got a couple over here that are really blooming. So these lights, these little square lights, they have a bloom cycle on them. A little bit different light, and it's got this Sisses just going crazy flowering. There's 2 of them here that are blooming real nice. And then here's a bunch of them that are in 4-inch pots, and they're all blooming really nice off these lights. So here's one of my black pines from seed. Probably get some wire on this one this spring and put some movement into it. I've got 3 black pines that came up from seed here. So this table has a lot of good stuff on it. Here's a Thuga cutting that's ready to do something with. One thing Nova Scotia has is beautiful rocks to collect, and I'm going to be planting a lot of these on rocks, because it's one thing I've noticed about selling them at the market is people expect them to be doing a trick, some kind of bonsai trick. So the root over rock is a good thing. So here's a Thuga that was a cutting probably 2 years ago. Getting some pretty good trunk on it. This is my one gardenia. It did have a couple of flowers this summer. So one thing that always happens down here on the 24-hour light, these lights stay on 24/7, is it stimulates the rosemary to bloom down here. These have gone past a little bit, but it does have a beautiful purple flower. This one's got an interesting trunk going. So here's a plant that I'm real excited about. This is a climbing hydrangea. And I've got probably about 20 cuttings of that. We have it planted in the ground outside. It's extremely cold resistant, and I've seen some really good bonsai from it, so that's what I'll be doing with those cuttings. So I've got a lot of Katon Asters that are developing, and they're just about ready to put into pots, and they've sold really well at the market. This is one that was left from the market. I have 2 of these, I think, that are left over from the market, and you can just about do anything you want with them. They're so limber and they wire so easy. You can make any shape out of them. Here's one of the jades that didn't sell last summer, so it'll probably be the first one to sell next year. That's kind of the way this is working out. It takes a long time to develop this stuff. They just get better and better. Here's a Scheffalera. I've got 2 of these Scheffaleras that were bought as pre-bonsai. They're doing really, really nice. Here's a Sarissa that's blooming real heavy. And a lot of the Meyers Lemon from seed are doing really nice. I'll have great product of the Meyers Lemon for the market. So nice to be able to walk around in here and not be the hunchback. So here's my one Trident Maple that came up from seed right here in this basement. I think I had 5 seeds and I only got 1. But I think I've gotten about 50 cuttings off of this tree now, and they're rooting really nice. So here's one of the best ones, and I've got this one. This one's planted on a rock. I usually keep the moss over them for a while, let them develop on the rock some, and then eventually the moss can come off and start washing the water off the rock. I've got my bougainvillea back there. It's a red bougainvillea. Here's a Sarissa that's getting a nice trunk on it. So I have this box of cuttings off of my mother Trident Maple here, and I'm hoping that this one here has some roots on it. They kind of get a look to them when they start to make roots. They just get happy and start to grow a little bit. A good way to test them is to do a little tug on them, but you don't want to pull too hard because the roots can pop right off. You always want to loosen it with something. Yeah, this one's got Beautiful roots on it. I'll put this in this pot here. So I've just been thrilled with how easy the Trident Maple roots, and it's just the perfect tree for taking babies and making new bonsai out of. So this lemon tree has done really nice. It's definitely one of my best ones that I've got in a bonsai pot. It's in a pot that I made. Here's one of the Thugas. Here's a nice boxwood in a fancy pot I made. I have quite a few boxwoods developing now. They're very slow, but they get really nice. There's a rosemary. I actually have a hibiscus blooming here. I'd say the hibiscus is probably the biggest aphid attractor in the world. It's a good, I've got them pretty under control down here. You have to, with aphids, you really got to find the plant they start on. If you can find the one they start on and kill them all, then you stop them from spreading. That's been a way to not get infested with them. So I'm always looking for them because they've always been a problem. So here's one of the climbing hydrangeas that's rooting. It's a very interesting plant. So I do bring some of my small Yamadori in here. This one's always had a really nice shape to it. Boxwoods. I bring plants down here in stages when it starts to get cold. So I just brought these Yamadori in yesterday because they were just frozen solid outside, you know. So I have a lot of nice Ficus Benjamins. They'll be all going into pots for the market this year. So the wood stove's not going right now. I had it going all day yesterday because it was really cold, and one of the nice things about this basement is that it retains heat really well once it warms up. Still probably over 50 in here. So it's an interesting setup because this pipe just goes into a concrete chamber, and then the pipe on the outside is concreted in to that chamber. So there's no 90 on the end of this pipe. It just blows into that chamber, and it creates a really good draft going up the steel pipe. So it's out with the oil and in with the ambiance. Really nice when we get a fire going down here and everybody gets happy. Let's see, over here, this is a cedar. So I had 5 acacia seeds. This is the only survivor. And this tree has got thorns from hell on it. I don't even want to work on it. I know I'll get stuck. I have to figure out what to do with it. I tried taking some cuttings on it and they weren't having it. None of them rooted. Here's another one of the tridents that's planted on a rock. Here's the lemon tree that I potted up in the video. That one's doing real nice. One of the plants I'm developing a lot is Japanese quince. This one's the Japanese quince, and this one. Some lemons over there. So yeah, the basement is just a wonderful place for me to keep plants, and working out really nice. So there you go. The basement tour 2023. Hope everyone's having a great day. And I'll catch you on the next one.